Hello Twin Flames, this is Victoria and I'm here with your daily energy check. Today Mercury retrograde kicks off and it's gonna be in place for 3 weeks as it normally is. So I decided to do a little bit of an emphasis on this transit and see what it does, what it brings to the twins. As you know, it's essentially taking our communication focus inwards. Some people, their brain still keeps going outwards, but it still brings them inwards. Be very careful with any important conversations or any big purchases during this time. Just think about it twice, let's put it that way. I'm not saying don't do it, just be mindful. And when it comes to communications, a lot of times we get triggered or we get others triggered, and yeah, it most of the time doesn't end well for a conversation. So don't really go into it unless you kind of know how to get out of it successfully without just slamming the door shut or like saying we're not gonna talk anymore again. Okay, so let's get a card for the feminines first. So it's gonna be the same spread. Essentially, I'm just setting the intention specifically for the Mercury retrograde. And what does it mean for the twins as we enter this period? I hope you guys enjoyed my total portal reading yesterday. And also I did one for New Moon in Sag, which were also still in that energy. So if you want to go back and look at those, the last 2 videos on my channel are about the topics that I'm mentioning. Buy the book number 11. 11, wink wink. But there is something that you're being asked to do by the book, meaning by instruction, you know, without deviations. And I feel like because I was just talking about the rules of communication and being especially careful during the retrograde, that's what essentially it is about. Like, don't try to just play it by ear, or don't think like, you know, if I'm in a good relationship with that person, it's just gonna work out naturally. I don't need to do anything. This may not be the case in here. Not because of you or the other person, but, well, maybe a little bit. But mostly because it's that kind of time right now. What do we have for the masculine? Building blocks, number 28. So they are essentially building their story block by block, little by little. So you may be seeing a little bit less of them. Well, I mean, it is retrograde in communication, but essentially the message is for the masculines watching, continue building. Each of those blocks is very important. So don't try to rush it. Don't think that you don't have seemingly good progress just because it doesn't look a certain way. You do, and those parts of the process are very important. For feminines watching, well, that's what's happening with your DMs. So they're not it's not that they're not talking to you because they don't want to, or there's something malicious there. No, they're within their process. Okay, now bottom of the deck in here is the Hangman. Yeah, kind of another side of the retrograde energy, any retrograde energy, but yeah, Mercury, I guess, specifically, because, you know, Hangman doesn't really communicate. I'm gonna use After Tarot for clarification. So we have Knight of Wands. Wow, there is a desire, there is like a passion that's building up. So it's kind of like this time apart, or time of like going within and reinventing yourself and who you are and how do you want people to treat you, and how do you want to present yourself. It all ignites more and more passion within twins towards each other. It's like this newfound curiosity and wonder that they are working with, that they are bringing to the table. It's almost like, you know, next time you see each other, there's gonna be this sense of newness, right? Like it's almost like a new relationship starting off, and there's a lot of like that you don't know about each other, and there's a lot of interest and curiosity. Feminines, your energy, Page of Pentacles clarified by the Chariot. Oof. So yeah, essentially Spirit is saying stay in the energy where you don't rush anything, and if you don't have a lot to offer right away, don't force it. it may not end well for you. So make sure it's very weighted, like the weighted decision. Whoever you're giving the pentacle to, whoever you're collaborating during this time, and make sure you're comfortable with it. And you may not feel like it's a great option for you, a great time, then that's the truth. If you want to go with it, just be very careful. Like, consider yourself essentially a newcomer, a student, somebody who needs to do their homework, to read the fine print. Make sure that you know about all terms and conditions before you agree to something important. It doesn't have to be about business, of course, but I saw that huge pentacle, so to me, that's how it reads. But whichever kind of resources it is, right? Maybe, I don't know, your relatives are asking you to babysit for the next months on and off because of something that's going on in their life. And you're like, yeah, of course, I'm always there for you guys. Check what they mean by that, and like some specifics. Figure it out before you agree. Masculines, we have the Hierophant clarified by 8 of Cups. So masculines, we've seen this energy for a while now, actually. Masculines are putting aside certain mindsets, certain belief systems that hasn't served them for a long time now. And yes, in this deck, it's a little bit different vibration, like with this card that I'm seeing, with the After Tarot. But essentially, this is like the retrospective of what happened, right? Like, you walk away, and then in this retrograde period, you come back, do that, and like, was that a good idea? How did it even end up being that way? Like, it was going well in that area, and then suddenly I just couldn't stand it anymore, right? So there's a little bit of that retrospection and analysis, which is good, because that's how you will get, like, in the moment, it wasn't that important. In the moment, it was important to walk away and start doing something different. DSD, as my coach in online business likes to say. But right now, it's like this next step that you're ready for, to understand why, what, how, right? The specifics. And that's important so that you don't make the same mistakes again in the future, so that you generally ascend with your energy and consciousness. And also so that you can release any feelings of guilt and shame that resulted from those events. Additional question, 9 of Cups clarified by the World. Wow, what is the cherished dream during this time that's going to be? So there is something that's going to be almost like hatched or nested, you know, like you'll be preparing to bring this about into the world. What kind of wish is that for the feminine? 5 of Pentacles clarified by 5 of Wands. So moving away from conflict and lack. Wanting to bring peace and abundance without a lot of hardships, right? Like, maybe you've been successful at making money, but it's brought a lot of stress into your life as well, or you had to sign up to some obligations with other people that you were not happy about, right? So this is like this wish to feel stable in this area. So like, it's like, just let me live my life, let me do my light worker mission, right? So I don't have to put up with this. Okay. For masculines, we have 7 of Swords clarified by the Hangman. We've already seen Hangman underneath the deck, but this one has feminine helping out, nurturing the DM. And I see that the masculines really want to understand what are the true motives of the feminine, right? It's almost like they see the nurture, they see the care, but they're not getting it yet. Like, where is this coming from? Like, why are we here? Like, after everything that happened between us, like, you know, bad things as well as good, like, usually people don't stick around, or they don't show patience and mercy, right? So what's happening here? They want to understand true motives. As long as they don't rush to the feminines with it, that's fine. So for masculines watching, that's a healthy desire. Keep going into it, keep asking for guidance, for signs, but it's preferable that you don't approach feminine directly about it, especially if you're not sure about the wording on how to make it sound like, you know, it's a healthy curiosity and you want to sound respectful and kind with it. How the feminine see in masculines right now? We see the Empress clarified by 3 of Swords, but in After Tarot, the swords have already fallen out and there is a healing process. So how do they see them? They see that the masculines are trying to to start taking charge, but in a good in a good, well, it's always really in a good way, but in a way of being productive and being able to create something sensible, even when it comes to a relationship, right? It doesn't have to be something in the material realm, especially since we're seeing heart healing. But heart healing is getting them more prepared towards offering something to feminines and towards like being more compassionate and kind, right? That's the Empress energy, essentially. Yeah, so masculines are really stepping into their empowerment, right? They are actually connecting a lot with the feminine energy within them, to be able to access this kind of potential, right? Where they don't need to reinvent the wheel. They can just follow their intuitive guidance and start creating their new life, whatever that is for them. How are the masculines seen feminines? Knight of Wands clarified by 8 of Wands. So passion, passion, and passion. But what I get from this is that masculines, yeah, there may be, for some, there may be evidence of like sexual tension or sexual desire, but for a lot, this is like passion, like meaning the desire to move forward. So they see a lot of that in the feminine, like being ignited, you know, having that spark of like, yes, I'm gonna go and conquer, I'm gonna go and be a badass. So it's almost like the opposite from what we saw was the masculine embracing the feminine energy, and feminine are doing that with the masculine energy. Very interesting, but it totally makes sense. It helps the general balancing and grounding. It's essentially one of the huge important points of the twin flame journey anyway. So this is happening naturally for the twins right now. Really exciting stuff. I think we have a lot to learn and to ground and to prepare during this Mercury retrograde, which is going to last essentially till the 1st of January. Okay, I hope this was useful for you guys. I'm gonna run, and until then, bye.